85, and I'm doing axle seals, and yeah, for some reason I don't think that's oil. I got front leaky axle seals on this square body. It's a 85 or whatever, so I'm gonna rip apart the outside hubs, get the shafts out, and then I'm gonna take the diff apart and get to those seals. Removing the locking hubs. This is a 6-bolt diff on a square body. It's the GM 8.5, I call it. It's the regular GM diff. I know probably people are hating on me. Some people call it a 10-bolt, I think. I just call it 8.5. So I'm gonna take this apart, show you how it's done. First things first, get the correct Allen key, and we're gonna get all these out. Make sure you remove the brake caliper before you're doing this. Undo all the little bolts. I hope these are the pliers. Yeah, nope, definitely not. You get bigger ones. And then you just put it up here like this. Oh. And then you just wiggle them out and they just come out if you undo everything. There's a C-clip in here. You use two 90-degree picks and you pop it out. I'm gonna do that now. C-clip out of there. Now there's a C-clip right there holding on the inside. So you're gonna remove that. Okay, C-clip's out. I don't know why there was a double one. You put the bolt in here and then you wiggle this out. Just like that. Then it comes out. Here it is. Now we got to deal with there's an outside nut and an inside nut, so we're going to get that out. So you need one of these handy dandy sockets. Mine's missing a tooth, but it still works. So you're going to put that in there and remove that first outer nut. It's a tighter one, so you're going to get that on 1/2 inch and just undo it. Okay, the front hub nut, take that off. Then there's this washer that holds it on. You take it out with a pick and a magnet. Then this is the back one. It's the same socket. You pull that out and that will make your rotor nice and loose and everything. Make sure you watch out because this bearing is going to fly out of there. So you want to catch that, and then this whole assembly is going to pull off. The back bearing stays in there. Rotor and hub bearings are all off down there. Now to get this off into that deals with the hub and everything and the bearings. Now to get into this spindle, we got to take these 6 bolts off here. That gets you all this out, so then you can get access to the U-joint and shaft to pull it out. Shield pulled off once the bolts came out. They were easy, and now it's just this whole spindle. So sometimes you tap on it, sometimes you got to work a chisel in there because they do get rusted on. So I'm going to take that off next. Spindle's all off. Now it's just as easy to pull that front axle out of the tube, and then you can work on the U-joint. And in this case, I'm doing those axle seals, so I need to get this out of here so I can take that carrier out of there. To get this out now, all you have to do once the axle shafts are both out, you just undo these 2 caps. And you're gonna pull that out. You're gonna keep these separate from side to side. That's important. So once these come out, then I can get to the axle seals, which are in here. Front differentials all out, and there are those seals right there. So I'm gonna hit them out from the other side of the tube. I'm gonna get that all going. I think I'm gonna make a second video. I'm gonna cut it off here because I feel like it's gonna be too long otherwise. And if you want to see more on how to do those hubs, I do have it on my YouTube videos. Check it out. Just search my name, John Olivach, and you'll find it there. Part 2 of the square body, putting the diff back together, I guess, this time. So let's do that. Finishing up this diff. We put new seals in there. You want to install them the right way. That's the way they should look in there. There, there, and there. And you're going to want to clean those tubes really good. Lots of brake clean and shove rags through them. There is a pile of junk that comes out of there. That's what the back of the seal will look like. It's got that thing, and it sits inside the tube, and that's the inside. So, and then you just use drivers and an extension. We put an extension out the tube and then we hit it in. There's other fancy driver tools, but that's the way I do it here. This is what I use to drive in those seals. It sits in flush, and then we put a bunch of extensions out through the tubes, and then it sits in there and we push it in, 2 of us. It works great. So now the diff is gonna go back in there, clean it up, and torque up those end caps. Mark caps, side to side, drivers to passengers. You also wanna keep these shims side to side, and they go in one way with it up against the bearing and into this will face out towards the axle. So make sure to keep that separate and organized. Carriers in the diff, these are torqued down to 55. Put that back in, and then you put your axles in. Make sure you lube where the seal rides and lube your seal. And then you slide the axle in, and then I got this side assembled. You put this brake shield on, and then you put the spindle on, clean it up, torque these bolts. They're 65 foot-pounds, and I'll assemble the other side now. Hub nuts in there. I do have a video on how to torque them up on YouTube, but the inner one you torque to 50, back it off, then retighten it to 35, then back it off again, maximum 3/8 of a turn. You put your washer on, then you torque that outside one to 160. Then you're done with that. It's all set up correctly. Like I said, there's a video on YouTube of me doing this. It's really good. Just search my name, John Holovach. You can check that out. So now we're gonna start assembling those locking hubs out here, which isn't bad. I just grease them. You're gonna pop them in and go from there. Locking hub inside is in there. We put the C-clip on this axle. If you can't get this C-clip on, what you want to do is reach in behind there and push the axle head, and then that groove will show up, and then you can put that in there. Then we put that bigger outer C-clip in here, and then that gets that all on. Then you're going to do the outside locking piece. I got to clean up this outside locking piece. I'm going to clean out some of that grease and re-grease it in there. Make sure, I like to re-grease everything. I also, around this O-ring, I clean it up and put a little bit of anaerobic sealer. It helps seal it. When I used to mud race, that was like, it would just corrode solid on there. And then these little bolts, I also like putting a bit of anti-seize on them. That way they don't seize into here, and then they're a pain to get off. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all that, lube it, anti-seize it, and put anaerobic, and then put it on there. And then we gotta double check and make sure the hub's locked before I put the calipers on and fill it full of oil. Okay, hub's on free, it's rotating, and then that U-joint, obviously it's all working nice and smooth. So then to make sure it all works, flick it over to the lock. I usually like just bounce them back and forth, but you can hear it's locked already. And there you go. It's nice and locked. And then also make sure it comes back out, put it back to free, wiggle it, and it's to free. So we know that hub's all working good. I'm gonna seal up that cover, put it on, and the brake caliper's left. And then this, and fill, and then it can go. RTV, and then we're gonna make a nice little job on it. Cover's on there, wheels are back on, calipers are all back on. We got that all fixed up and ready to go. That completes this little project that I did on this Square. If you want to see a better detailed video of how the hubs were set up, I got it on my YouTube page. Again, just search my name, John Holovach, and check out that video.